Northgate Street Rows and Eastgate Street Row North. The rows only encroach on Northgate Street briefly, and on the west side have disappeared altogether due to rebuilding work in the 19th century. This part of our trail begins at the City Club at number 1. The neoclassical building was formerly the commercial newsroom, which was built in 1807 by Thomas Harrison, who also worked on Chester Castle. Take a look at the plaque on the wall. The City Club stands on the site of the medieval Ironmongers' Row. The covered walkway ahead on the left sits just above the part-cobbled street. It is all that remains of a ramshackle row once populated by shoemakers. The row was lowered and the undercrossing closed in the 1800s. But all is not lost. Look up to see a confection of Chester's familiar black and white Tudor Revival buildings. There's work here by James Strong, Harry Beswick and John Douglas, the latter best known for his work at the Duke of Westminster's home, Eaton Hall, on the edge of the city. The pretty sweep of timber-framed gables with oriel windows is elaborately detailed. There's a multitude of patterns, including stripes, diamonds and spheres, fleur-de-lis and quatrefoils. Finials top the gables at the southern end. The supporting columns are variously designed. See the delicate laced wooden skirts hanging from the bay windows at numbers 9 to 13, now the shop Zara. Spot the carved statuettes of a woman, a knight and a pilgrim above number 7, now the Dr. Martens store. Outside Molly's traditional sweet shop, the row's northern corner is decorated with colourful figurines, including a piper and a lutist. This invisible row also hides a secret for you to discover if you take a guided tour. In the basement of numbers 21 to 23, now Pret-a-Manger, you'll find original columns and bases from the Roman conqueror's headquarters building. Nip around the northern corner of the arcade, past the Dublin Packet pub and into the alley to find a viewing area of some of the excavated remains of the Roman strong room. The pay chests were kept under permanent guard at this underground treasury. Could this be Britain's oldest bank? Return to Northgate Street and climb the steps by Starbucks to Northgate Street Row East, then continue forward. This row was home to butter shops, bakers and cooks over the centuries. It also earned a few nicknames down the years. One was Pepper Alley Row, and a pepper became the term coined for a hooligan because of the rowdy crowd that frequented the area. Another was Broken Shin Row because of the uneven surface of the ground. The buildings approaching the corner of Northgate and Eastgate streets were known as the notorious Dark Row. Here the path was obscured by a series of booths which replaced the stallboards, the large slabs of wood, tile or stone between the balustrade and the passageway. The effect was a dingy and secluded spot popular with lurking criminals. Several of these booths remain in place, although the area was opened up in the early 1990s. Read the tales from the rows on the information board at the Northgate corner and enjoy the views of the cross and its surrounding historic architecture. You can find out more about this scene on the Eastgate corner and Bridge Street Row East section of our trail. Now continue east along Eastgate Street Row North, a quiet stretch that offers brief respite from the bustle of Chester's main drag below. Stop at the Boot Inn, also the point at which the Dark Row ends. This was the Georgian home of a merchant, although it received a makeover in the 19th century. Walk a little further to find the entrance to Godstall Lane, a medieval alley that's very easy on the eye. Prettified by boutiques and bars, ornate hanging signs and ivy-clad walls, this is a pleasant place to take a break. Godstall Lane leads to St Werburgh Street and Chester Cathedral, another must-see. The colonnaded walkway at the street's northern end is called St Werburgh Row. It's a striking contrast to the architecture we've seen so far. Designed in 1935 by local boy Maxwell Ayrton, one of the architects of the original Wembley Stadium. Return to Eastgate Street Row East and take the stairs down to street level. Cross in front of the Eastgate and its famous clock to the entrance of the Grosvenor Shopping Centre. This is the start point for the next part of our circular journey through the Chester Rows.